Hey, what's up everybody? This is Kalan from White Glove Models and welcome back to the channel. So today has been a very long awaited day for me and for some of my viewers as well. But today we're finally going to get started on the Agora Models Battleship Bismarck. So I actually received the first box of the Bismarck probably about 4 or 5 months ago. And the reason you guys haven't seen anything yet is because I've been busy modifying it and repainting it and kind of doing some of the stuff that I wanted to do to my kit. So there are going to be things that look a lot different than yours or than some other Bismarcks that you have seen from Agora Models, just because I put my personal touch on them, and I'm very excited to finally get started on part 1 of the Agora Models Battleship Bismarck. If you want to see a full tutorial on this build, head over to the World of Wayne. I'll put up a little image here so you guys can kind of see where you need to go. World of Wayne, he does a wonderful full build on this. There's also Mark's Mods. He does the full build tutorial as well, and several others. There's a lot of them out there. This is just going to be my take on the build. So let's head over to the workbench and get started on part 1 of the Agora Models Battleship Bismarck. So here it is. We are finally here to part 1 of the Agora Models Battleship Bismarck, and I've got all of my parts here in this little fishing tackle box, and everything is painted up and ready to go. So a lot of you guys just build the kit, the Bismarck, as it comes to you. You don't worry about painting or anything like that. As you know, I am a little OCD about some things, and so I chose, whether it was a mistake or not, to go and modify my Bismarck. So I want to show you guys the deck real quick. So this is the front bow deck, and as you can see, it definitely looks a little bit different than yours. This area in the end, I think we're going to basically create a tarp for that, which will be available to you guys. So the reason you haven't seen any of this extra work, if you're not a member to my Patreon or my Buy Me a Copy account, those are where these modifications are going to be posted for members only in the Patreon community, as well as the Buy Me a Coffee community. So if you want to see that, it's just $1 if you want to join and help support the channel at any of those sites, and you can see the complete modification. And I haven't started posting those videos, but we'll start posting those this week. So it will start from the very beginning to where I started working on the barrels, and these barrels have been ported out and drilled down, as well as sanded to try to get rid of some seam lines in them. These are metal barrels, but they still had seam lines, so I had to get rid of those, just basically to appease my own mind, basically. So you'll see that coming up on the Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee website as well. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and get moving on with the build. And so what we are going to need for this section, we don't need this quite yet, so we can put that off to the side. And as you can see, I have all these labeled for the different stages. So stage 1, I know I'm going to need this guy. And one of these had already fallen off. So as you can see, these have been painted as well, just like the color a little bit better and dulled it out with a flat Tamiya flat clear XF86, I believe it is. And then I also did all of the other parts here. And so when you get these, they're kind of a plastic color. So let me show you the difference here. So this is what it looks like when you get it, and this is how they look after I've painted them the color of gray that I want. So the color I ended up using on them is light gray Tamiya XF66, and then again I used the flat clear XF86 to clear over everything to protect it. And then for these other darker pieces that are almost black, I ended up using the German gray, and I do believe it's Tamiya XF63. I do believe I ended up putting a little bit of flat black in there as well, just to darken it up a tone on some of the other parts. And so there is that, and I will go ahead and start putting this together. So first thing they want us to do is take the base plate of the warping winch, which is this guy here, and then you have two cap stands. So I'm going to need my handy dandy cutters here. And as always with any project, you want to test fit here. So a lot of times when you're painting, you might end up filling in these holes a little bit more, and then there's also obviously some paint on the outside here, so I'm going to just scrape some of that off here. It'll also, by scraping this off, you'll also get or give the part a little better chance of gluing on. And for most of the parts on these builds, they recommend using super glue. And I'm gonna opt out of that option for some of them. Parts like these plastic ones that I don't ever want coming apart, I'm going to glue these down with regular Tamiya cement. Then what I'm gonna use for these is the Tamiya extra thin cement. Just to lock those in place. That's really all you need. You don't need a whole lot. Put those off to the side and see what our next step is. So the next step is just sticking these two guys together, which I've already done. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that in here with some of this Tamiya extra thin. Bring it up here so you guys can see it. That's probably a bit much, but that should end up gluing that together. So now we get to bring the deck over. There, as you can see, this is my modified deck, and then you're basically, I'm going to test fit this real quick, going to just drop this in here. Again, I probably have a little bit of paint built up in there, and so I might have to scrape, but actually I think it goes in really well just like that. So what I'll do now, since that's in, I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on these connection points. Again, I'm just using the Tamiya extra thin. Just let it kind of work in there into those joints and get a good seal. And Next we have these, I think these are vents, or they call them housings. I'm not really sure what exactly, but to me they look like vents. So again, release it from the sprue. And these are going to be going into these slots right there. And then, of course, I have a little overflow, which is fine, but I just want to try to clean that up because I don't really want that shininess coming around. I also don't want to mess up my beautiful paint job, so just be extra careful. There we go. See, I put too much glue in there, and you don't really want to do that. So, lesson learned, I will be a little more sparing with the glue. And then we have these bollards that they want us to put in, and they want us to start on the starboard side, which is the right-hand edge of the upper deck. And those bollards look something like this, and we have a bunch of these. I'm going to need 2 of them, and they're going to go in that slot right there. And come on, there we go. Hear that snap in there? Then what I'll do is, again, I'm just going to use a lot less glue than I've been using because I don't want to go too overkill with this, and just lock it in place, you know. That's probably more than enough. So then we are going to be repeating that on the other side, it looks like. Alright, so just a quick recap of what we did here. We put these 2 pieces together, and those will be staying in here until we need it. I'm not sure when that will be coming into play here. And then we, of course, grabbed the front of the bow here and started assembling parts to it. It is starting to look like the deck of the Bismarck. Very excited to show you down the bow like that. And we also had a hull section for this, which I'm not going to bring out because it's just going to stay in the box until we are ready to use it, which should be in about the next, I think it should be either in part 2 or part 3. Well, that concludes part 1 of the Agora Models Battleship Bismarck. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too. Part 1, very short. I'm going to do these in small sections just to make it easier for me and for you guys, so you don't have to sit through a 30-minute video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a wonderful, wonderful new year, and thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content coming to the channel. Take care, everyone, and I will see you next time.